Hey, I'm Ryan McRae, and I'm a voracious reader and hopeful writer. So let's talk about some books that I like. Today we're talking about Babel by R.F. Kuang, an arcane history. This is one of my favorite books, and I can't wait to get started. Babel, or as the inside cover says, The Necessity of Violence, an arcane history of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. It's by R.F. Kuang, and it's a dark academia fantasy novel that really focuses on the themes of colonialism, language, and power. And it's set in an alternate 19th century England and the story revolves around this kid named Robin Swift. And he's this Chinese orphan that's abducted from China, and he's thrown into this institution, the Royal Institute of Translation, because he's bilingual. He speaks Mandarin and English, which is very rare in the 19th century. And so he is trying to survive and thrive at this school. He's trying to make friends, he's trying to avoid making enemies. But soon it becomes apparent that what the school is actually up to, what they're actually doing, is not great. And spoiler alert, he's going to fight back against it with his friends. And so the story is, how do you fight against an institution that is not only colonizing the world, but has a source of magic that everybody wants and no one has access to. And I loved this book. I burned through this book in about a week. It was always by my side. I listened to it in audio. And I just have some things to share about this book that I really like. So let's get going. First, I want to get into the magic system of this book. I really love magic systems in books. It's one of the reasons I love that trope of schools and fantasy. I just like to see, hey, what does the author build that's unique to what makes magic in this place? And so in this world, if you are bilingual and you write, let's say, the word motion in French on one side of a piece of silver, and then you write the word motion in maybe Mandarin on the other side, and you know both of those languages, it becomes magically imbued. You can install it somewhere, and then maybe it moves a cart forward and you can drive it. And so they'll keep making these and then selling them to people. And they don't share that information with other people. They don't share how exactly they imbue the silver. And it's really hard to find people who are bilingual in a lot of different languages. But, what the school does is it starts to abduct kids who are bilingual. So, our boy Robin, he's abducted from China because he speaks both Mandarin and English, and that's a very rare find. And so you find out that the school is really doing some not great things, making sure people are bilingual, trilingual, and then taking them and using them for these creations to figure out how can they keep sprawling out, colonizing, and using their power, not for good, but for really insidious reasons. This book really follows the school trope really well, and it's my favorite trope, and it just does it. Mwah. I'm going to get into the school trope later on in another video, but basically a school is either about growth, it's a growth hierarchy, the better you do, you go up and it's for the good of everyone, or it's a power hierarchy, and this is not a meritocracy, it's how well do you serve the school, then you move up. And that school could have not great reasons to have power, or they could have terrible reasons to have power. So a growth example would be Harry Potter would be a growth example. Hogwarts is about, hey, the kids move up as far as how well they work magic for the good of everyone. Magicians is the same. Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin is the same. This is growth hierarchy. Same thing with Amari and the Knight Brothers. All these schools are really for the good of people, and that's why they have this school. But, if it's a power hierarchy like Naomi Novak's Schoolomance series, Deadly Education, I'm going to do a review on this. It's about power. The kids here are abducted as well. And yeah, it's to save them from insidious things, but the school also has its own foibles and problems and threats. So it's a power hierarchy. So in Babel, the Translating Institute is a power hierarchy. They are just saying, hey, how useful are you, and let's use you for our needs, for our benefit. And they just do these things where somehow they abduct these kids who are just happen to be bilingual or trilingual in exactly the languages they need. Crazy, right? So, Robin starts to notice this, starts to see this, and he has to make a move to destroy um, the Institute. As you can probably tell, I really love this book. I highly recommend it. It's probably in paperback now. This is my war-torn hardcover version. And if you want me to review a book, if there's one like, hey, what do you think of this book? Please put it in the comments. And if you've read Babel, I want to know what you thought of it. And what I'd really love for you to do, and you hear this all the time, is just hit that like, hit that subscribe, smash the bell, I guess people say. But that way I can keep doing more videos and just telling you what books that I love so that they fall in your hands. Well, that's about it. I'm Ryan McCrae, and just keep on reading good books.